Awesome. So welcome to the November 1st, 2023 SASO University group call. What we're going to be focusing on today is the front half of the conversion mechanism. Well, actually, full conversion mechanism. And then we're also going to be jumping into the social media content script creation and then the sales process. So essentially, how we are going to try to set up sales calls and then how we can actually try to close people via both the DMs and in the actual sales call themselves. And going a step further and actually looking at the difference between an outbound versus an inbound sales meetings. So, as always, you guys can interrupt me at any point, ask any questions you want. Just raise your hand. That way, we're not all talking over each other. So, just raise your hand. That way, I can, shut my mouth and listen to whatever question you guys have. So I'll pull up a little whiteboard. Again, as always, these calls are for you guys. So at any point, do not hesitate. If you don't want to turn your mic on, just comment the question in the chat, the Google Meet chat. If you are comfortable, raise your hand, and then we can kind of go back and forth and really get to the root of whatever the question is. If you're in the fast track training, some of this is going to overlap with what we're going through in the training, since a lot of the beta coaching program is leading to the evolution of the um, new SASO University content. So some of that is going to overlap. So if you're in that program, then you can use this as kind of like a secondary coaching session where you can ask any questions or get any additional feedback. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Before I start, like I said, I mentioned what we're going to be covering. Is there any like really prevalent issues or topics that you guys want me to jump into? If not, you can do like there's little like emoji thing at the bottom. You can just put like a thumb down if you don't have any questions. Okay, cool. If that changes, just let me know. Like I said, these sessions are for you guys. So let's start with reviewing first. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Some of the older content that we have covered, but I want to give context. So this right here is probably some of the best coaching that I could give you in terms of starting and scaling the business very, very quickly. So this right here. So what we're looking at essentially, and even if you're in the coaching program, this is still going to be like newer stuff or another angle, more context. Because after every meeting I have, or after every coaching session that I have, I'm essentially able to gather more context in terms of what people are struggling with. So, very quick recap. The customer journey, this is super simple. They start off as just traffic. Like they're scrolling their feed and they see an ad, or they go on Google and they search your company and they see your SEO result, whether it's local or act like true SEO. They're on social media and they see your content, right? Somebody sends your content to them. So they have to go from being unaware of who you are to aware of who you are, right? This is how you guys found me. This is how I found Hormozy. This is how we found High Level, right? Out of nowhere, you go from being aware, right? So the traditional marketing funnel focuses on the customer journey, which is awareness, interest, decision, action, right? Super simple, the AIDA framework, like nothing revolutionary here. So when we look at traffic, this is essentially awareness and interest. Then the decision, so we're still AID. Remember, it's a 4-step framework. So 4 steps. Awareness happens in traffic. Interest happens in traffic. Decision happens in traffic. Action does not take place until we get to the conversion mechanism. Okay. So think about that. In today, in a modern post COVID society, which we're slowly going to start evolving even from this point. But right now, we're still in a post COVID society where essentially everybody has milked the teats of every online marketer ever. So everything has become ads, ads, ads. We're slowly going to be progressing into rampant AI is what I'm going to call it, like the Terminator. I'm going to start having like a series where I'm basically just like laughing at the fact of how many people think AI does everything. If you don't know, for reference, like when people say, "Oh, we have AI that does X, Y, and Z," 80% of the time they're actually referring to automations. I don't know if you guys know that they're actually referring to automations, not AI. So like missed call text back, that's not That's not AI, that's automation, right? When they're like, "Oh, somebody fills out a form and we text them right away." It would only be AI if the content of the message was actually, crafted by AI, right? And I'm not even referring to, like, the initial copy. I'm talking about, like, every single part of the conversation would have to be crafted by AI for it to be an actual AI workflow. So, what people are really doing is they're masking automations as AI because AI is a buzzword. But again, the people who have to fake it until they make it really don't make it anymore. That is a very outdated um, approach, just extremely outdated. So again, if we're looking at this and we're considering just the basic ADA framework, awareness happens here, interest happens here, decision happens here. Then the action. So once they decide, hey, based off this content, I want to actually go and work with this individual or check out their content, whatever the case may be, right? Then they go to the conversion mechanism. And the conversion mechanism is a funnel. It's just a funnel. Okay. From the funnel, once they say, I want to work with this individual, or once you say, I want to work with this individual, then you go into fulfillment. And the fulfillment is, hey, I've paid however much I need to pay, whether it's 100% or 20% or, X amount down. Now that I've paid, I'm going to receive what I paid, whether it's immediate, like access to a membership in a community, whether it's over the course of time, like, hey, I've got to set up everything based on what you've told me. So this is a done for you client acquisition system. It's going to take me 30 to 60 days to build out, or maybe 15 days to build out. And we're going to monitor everything for 30 days to make sure everything is working how you want it to work. Right. Or you guys, this is the very, very easy way to do this. Okay. Fulfillment capability. And I'll test you guys because I want to make sure if I'm going to switch back to Google Meet, I want to make sure that I actually annoy you guys with questions and actually spur up some conversation. So if we're going to be in Google Meet and there's no like latency between the live stream and the actual questions, I'll ask you guys more questions and I'll bother you. So, um, can anybody tell me what the easiest way to fulfill anything is going to be?
Using a VA.
Using a virtual assistant, white labeling. The hardest way, can anybody tell me, Grant, if you want to as well, can anybody tell me what the hardest way to fulfill anything is going to be?
Doing it, yeah, like yourself.
It's not only doing it yourself, it is doing yourself. The reason doing yourself is so difficult is because it's not just doing it yourself. It's I have to go learn how to do it. Then I have to have enough confidence to do it. Then I have to figure out what I did wrong when I go to do it. It's very difficult. And then when you have to troubleshoot things, it becomes even more of a nightmare, right? Like I have somebody message me before the call and they're like, I'm trying to use Elementor and it's not updating the website when I actually make a change. I remember having that same issue. I got a VA, told him the same thing. Hey, go use my VA. He's awesome. So when it comes to this, the fulfillment portion, the virtual assistant is going to be your best friend. Just white labeling whatever the solution is going to be the fastest way to be able to fulfill. Okay. Like, this is my daughter like giggling at me. Uh, so the fastest way is going to be to fulfill is going to be the fulfillment capability is the virtual assistant, like just hands down. Okay. It doesn't have to be a VA. You can white label. So if you are trying to like sell a video editing package, you can say, "Hey, I've got a buddy who does this," and then you can turn around and just hand it over, right? Let me see. It's like you want to see how worth it is in the task of fulfillment. It could be using the time to grow and scale. So yes. So Naman, I'm going to read it aloud because the recording I don't think sees it. It says he says it's like you want to see how worth it the task is in fulfillment. You could be using that time to grow and scale instead of doing redundant tasks. Yes and no. So you are accurate, but that's actually the second half. So if you had all of those skills, even the skills you currently have, you can essentially um, you don't want to be doing the work, even if you had the skills. What I'm referring to is even the first half of that is like, well, maybe I don't have the skills at the level I want, or maybe I don't even know like how to do it because I've never done it before. Right. So it a simple fact in terms of if you're going to scale your business, it's really nice to have that structure early on, which is I assign it to a virtual assistant. That's really the nicest way to go because eventually you're going to have 5 virtual assistants and someone who manages them, right? Yeah, Naman, what was your question?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess I just wanna, like, kinda, I guess, like, get the point correctly, like, so, like, it's like, for example, saying that, like you, like, at the end of the day, we're all business owners, it's like, you need to know how to run the business, and if there's, like, specific tasks where, like, somebody's more can be more specialized and offer some value, it's like, you can just kinda outsource that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but what I'm also saying is for some of these newer guys, and I don't know, 100% in depth your skill set, but like, let's take me for example, right? I'm going to be learning how to do editing on a new video editing software. So I'm starting to use like new editing software. What would be faster? Not what would make more sense. Not what would be more efficient. What would just be faster? Me editing start to finish, or me paying someone to edit a clip for me?
Um, I guess, like, you wanna hire someone to do it in terms of fast, but then at the same time, it'd be good for you to, like, learn as well, so that
Yes.
you also know what
So
the other person's doing.
it's good to know enough of what's going on, but I know you want to know enough to not get ripped off. You want to know enough to price accurately. You don't necessarily have to get in and play around, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, like when it comes to video editing, I will know because I've used very simple editors like CapCut, Descript, very simple editors, right? Even like the TikTok and the TikTok editor, right? Super, super like simple stuff, right? Like 9-year-olds are using, right? But I know when it comes to editing clips where I'm using so for me, Imran is helping me set up like I've got my new mic, I got a new layout, I'm learning the lights, and I'm gonna be using my DSLR. It's like it's like a G7, which is not the best, but it's good starting, right? And from there, I'm gonna be learning how to integrate the 3. But because they're all gonna record and they're both going to record in different locations, I have to understand, okay, cool. I have to layer the audio over the video, right? And then I have to edit them potentially separately, like the video in the video editor, the audio and the audio editor. But I still understand the basics of like audio cleaning and correction, the basics of like transition between video because I've used it in very simple tools, again, like CapCut, like Descript. So I know how much it goes into it. I don't know it fully, but I know enough to say, cool, if I want TikToks edited for me, I'm not paying more than $10 per TikTok. So that doesn't change, right? If the virtual assistant is coming to me like, hey, I'm having tech issues, that's not the right virtual assistant. So it's good to know enough to where you can communicate effectively and not get ripped off. That's the level of knowledge that you want to have, the bare minimum. Now, it's good to know more because the more you know, as you have your own team, the better you can communicate. Yes. But when it comes to the initial portion of the fulfillment capability, because I know how to communicate and because I know bare minimum when it comes, I'm not saying I know more than bare minimum, but because I know at least a bare minimum of SEO, PPC, Meta, high level, WordPress, Elementor, when I'm speaking to these guys, if someone throws out a number like, oh, it's 500 to do a $200 task, I know right away you're way overpriced. Now, could they be overpriced because they can provide without me having to give as much detail? Or could they, when I say, hey, I need you to take some liberty on this project, they do really well versus really poorly? Yeah, I'm not saying that they're not worth it, but I'm able to communicate enough to figure out where the discrepancy is between the price and the value. So when it comes to the fulfillment, I'm not saying you have to go cheap, cheap, but what you can do is you can know enough to be able to communicate with these guys. So fulfillment capability needs to, or is essentially the fastest thing to solve for. Okay. Because at the end of the day, you could even hand it off to somebody who's much more intelligent than you, and you can still technically collect an affiliate or referral commission, right? So the fulfillment capability should be the least of your worries, not because I don't want you to take it seriously, but because I want you to let people who are good at what they do what they're good at doing. Essentially, what you will become if you truly want to manage this entire business in less than 1 to 2 hours a day and under 5 days a week, what you will become is you will become essentially a digital or remote project manager. You essentially learn how to communicate to the key stakeholders, the people who pay to you and the people whom you pay, and you learn how to communicate between the two of them. And then you add an additional service which is going to be the traffic, step 3, which we'll cover. But the fulfillment capability really, for some people, is like the highest stress. If fulfillment capability is the highest stress for you, one of two things has happened. You don't understand your industry, or you have not collected payment to validate paying, or essentially provide you enough capital to pay somebody else to do the job. That's what it boils down to. So when it comes to achieving success, does anybody know the term violence of action? It's kind of like a military term. I don't know if it's like a just an older dude term, but we said it all the time in the military. Basically, what it refers to, violence of action, is how quickly can you attack a task? That's what it boils down to. So, for example, if it takes me um 100 days to fulfill a client, how many clients can I realistically handle in a year? Like 3, right? 3.5, right? 365 divided by 100-day clients, right? So 3.65 clients per year. If I can reduce that to 50 days, now I can handle roughly 7 clients. If I can reduce that down to 7 days, I can handle 52 clients. If I can reduce that down to 2 days, I can handle, 180 clients. So the way that we essentially shorten the fulfillment cycle is we have to actually understand what we're fulfilling, and we have to essentially speed. We have to attack that which we are trying to accomplish. So the faster in which you can validate, the faster in which you can verify your claim or validate your claim, the faster in which you can fulfill a client, the faster in which you can create content that converts, the faster in which you can create your conversion mechanism, that will essentially compound just like, interest. And from there, with that compounding effect, you will be able to essentially achieve success much faster. So think about this, right? Who knows the average outbound conversion rate when it comes to DM, calling, email, of cold, that is? Does anybody know the average outbound conversion rate? I told you guys I'm gonna make you guys talk if we're in Google Meets. So 2% or less, 2 to 8%. Someone doesn't know. Yeah, so for cold email is like 1 for every 2,000 emails. Cold calling, people claim 1 to 2%. I think that's a load of baloney. I've never seen a 1 to 2% um, cold call conversion rate. And for the record, I used to I work in departments that did cold calling outbound, warm calling outbound, and then warm inbound leads. Um, so that's not just me saying, "Oh, I didn't do it. My feelings are hurt." No, I've never seen anybody above like 1 to 2% on call conversion. Email reply rate. So email will love to tell you, "Oh, we have a 1% conversion or 0.1% conversion." You know how they count their conversions? Because most people say they assume conversion means sale. This is how they count their conversions. They say, "Oh, yeah, conversion is a reply." No, in my opinion, conversion is a sales call booked or sales call closed. So they count conversions differently. Cold calling counts conversions as a sales meeting booked because they don't try to sell on the cold call. So when I'm referring to DMs, I'm referring to a sales call booked. That's a much more important metric, in my opinion, than we booked a second meeting. Now you can argue, well, I've been cold calling for 10 years, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's great. I really could care less because, and somebody actually argued with me in a high level group. They were like, um, social media is not the way to go. Cold calling is the way to go. And I asked him, I was like, so I can make a post. Well, let me ask you guys, how long do you think it takes to do like 100 calls on average? So assume some answer the phone, some don't. The ones that do tell you to screw off. The ones, maybe some are nice. How long do you think it would take on average? From experience, 2 to 4 hours. Exactly. How long, if I posted a 60-second TikTok, how long theoretically could I get 100 views? Same amount. Exactly. I could post it, and in the length it takes to consume that content, if you have an audience, you could theoretically get the views that you need within a couple seconds or a couple minutes. Exactly. So that is why the content is just so much better. So again, if we're speaking about violence of action, if you want another, so the combination, this is the deadly combination. Okay. If you're an entrepreneur, you most likely find the laziest way to do things, right? Because you are frustrated by inefficiency. That's pretty fair, right? Most people are, you're probably like, well, why would we do it that way? Right? That's basically what we do. We solve problems because we want to be more efficient because we can either work less or we can make more in the same amount of time. Right? The combination, if you want the deadliest combination of being an entrepreneur, it is a combination of being lazy so you can find the most efficient way to do things, but also being so lazy that you are going to use violence of action to attack those tasks so you can actually be lazy in the future. If I'm lazy right now, I'm gonna have to work 50%, or I'm gonna have to work 1 to 2 hours a day for the rest of my life. If I want to be lazy in the future, I need to bust my tail now so I can retire by 35 and never work a day in my life, or retire in the next 2 years, or retire in the next 5 years. So if you truly want to be a combination of lazy and entrepreneurial, that is how you do it. You have to essentially attack the process, achieve the goal, and then you can cruise because the whole thing's automated. So fulfillment capability, it should really be a matter of virtual assistants letting them do the work for you. You go to Fiverr. I'm going to tell you right now how to find your own virtual assistant. You go to Fiverr, you test 2 or 3 of them out. You pay them between 50 bucks and 100 per project, which is going to be a portion of or the entirety of your um, upfront payment from your client. They're going to do the work and you're going to see which one you like better. You handle them for a few projects and then you basically say, hey, I'm going to assign you to some stuff in ClickUp. In ClickUp, you're going to message them because you can't do this on Fiverr because it violates their terms and services. So I'm teaching you some little underhanded tricks. You're going to message them in your ClickUp account, which you get for free. And you're going to say, hey, would you be opposed to me paying you directly? And if you're paying them directly, you use a software or a solution. It's a peer-to-peer payment solution called Payoneer, Payoneer. I personally, all my virtual assistants are from Pakistan. Payoneer is the only method I can use. Payoneer is essentially like, it is specifically for contractors and contractees specifically. So they give you all the documents. You can take it to whomever, but you're going to pull them off of Fiverr and pay them directly on Payoneer. Why do we do this? Yeah, in Bangladesh. I didn't know that. Why do we do this? Does anybody know off the top of your head the commission fee that Fiverr pulls from every job? It's actually 30%. So if you pay somebody a hundred bucks, they take home 70. So here's what you do. When you message them through ClickUp, you don't say, oh, I'll just pay the 70% direct. There's no benefit for them because the benefit of Fiverr is your money goes into essentially like an escrow or goes into holding, and Fiverr holds it and they say, you two play nice. When you're happy, I'll pay him. And then you get the deliverable. And if you're unhappy, I'm going to take both back from both of you. So that's what Fiverr does. That's why you do 3 or 5 projects, make them happy. That's why you pay them more than they actually want because you want to entice them to work with you. And then when you pull them off of Fiverr, you're going to hit them with this. Hey, instead of paying you 100 and you take home 70, what if I just paid you 85 directly? So you save 15%. I'm not talking about Geico. You save 15% and they make 15% more. So they're happy because they made 15% more. You're happy because you save 50%. And then Fiverr, of course, doesn't want you to do that because then they lose their 30%. And then you pay them after the work is done. And do not like if I can, if there's anything you can do that would like really tick me off, do not screw your virtual assistants over. If they do the work, even if you don't like the work that they've done, but they've done it to the specifics that you've given them, you need to pay them, especially if you pulled them off of Fiverr. You got to pay them. I've seen sometimes where, and if you don't, by the way, if you don't, virtual assistants will go into groups that you're in and they will post screenshots of you not paying them and they will rip you a new one and no one will want to work with you again. Your reputation is all you have. So it's better to lose a little money than lose a reputation. Let me tell you that. And I'm saying that not from my experience, but from like secondhand embarrassment of seeing people just like drop the ball with that. So fulfillment capability, that should be the least of the worries that you have. Okay. Next, conversion mechanism. So remember, let me explain, by the way, this process very quickly. For the legal side of things, it's a gray area for the terms and conditions. You're not going to get sued. It's just great. The terms and conditions. You might get in trouble. You might lose your Fiverr account. You just make a new one. Yeah, you're not going to get Fiverr's not going to come for you and be like, "We want our 45 cents back." I recommend Fiverr over Upwork because, again, balance of action. You can set up a Fiverr account just by linking your Gmail. With Upwork, they're like, "Tell us about yourself," and like they will not let you make an account unless you fill out like a dating profile, and it's just really annoying. It's seriously like I don't even have an Upwork because I've tried to do it like 3 times and it's like a 50 question questionnaire. I feel like I'm being screened for like the military again. That's good. Maybe that'll be the first time. You'll be the first guy on Fiverr who's, I don't know, gets like crucified or something ridiculous. But so let me ask you guys very quickly. Does anybody know why we do this reverse fulfillment? Don't just say violence of action because that is the end answer. But does anybody know why we do this reverse fulfillment? Laziness, yes, but why is this the lazy way to do it? You guys can come off mute, by the way, if you are comfortable with that. You guys can come off mute. Why is this the lazy way to do it?
Reverse engineering.
Reverse engineering, but check this out. And this is what I love about what I do is that a lot of this stuff, when I figured it out, again, some of this stuff, you're gonna see how simple it is, but a lot of this stuff took me years to figure out. So you're gonna see it's so simple, it's gonna piss you guys off a little bit. If I have traffic and no conversion mechanism, where am I gonna send my traffic? Nowhere, right? You can't send them to nowhere. So you have to have somewhere to send them. If I have a conversion mechanism, but I don't know how to fulfill, when they pay me, what am I going to do? I can't fulfill. So we reverse engineer it. Well, I have something to offer. I have a way to collect payment for what I'm offering. And now I can send people to what I'm offering. That's why we do this order. And you want to know, if you're wondering like, oh, well, why would anybody ever do this order? Like what he said just makes sense. Can anybody think of an example of somebody who has a ton of traffic and no conversion mechanism? Social media influencers.
Oh, I was gonna say it myself. No.
Yeah, tons on IG and Facebook, lots of creators. Exactly. They have a ton of traffic, no conversion mechanism. What happens the minute they release their own stupid, low quality merch? What happens? Reputation drops, sure. If the fulfillment is bad, reputation drops. So you're looking actually at step 3. If the quality is bad, like my wife, it was like really big into the like Shane Dawson, what was the other guy? Jeffree Star, when they had like a makeup palette, and then apparently like the manufacturer, because I love the business side of it. So I was actually interested in the collaboration. And they had the I guess makeup quality was really bad and there was like hair in it and stuff. The reputation tanked. What happened though is the conversion mechanism can be terrible, terrible, and they will still sell out. They will still sell out because the point of the conversion mechanism, there's no what remember the AIDA framework. Does awareness happen there? No. Does interest happen there? No. Does the decision to buy happen there? No. That is where all these Fiverr guys who are like, I can make you a really cool funnel. You see those guys in high level, I can make you a great funnel. It'll convert. No, it won't. The decision doesn't happen there. None of you buy clothes at the register. That's just where you swipe your card. You bought clothes the minute you saw, I don't know, Kanye wearing it, or the minute you put it on the rack in the dressing room. That's where the decision is made. It is never made at the register. What happens at the register? Action. Ding. Thanks. That's it. What's the fulfillment? Now that I bought it, I can wear it out. Nobody makes the action. Nobody makes a decision. Nobody's aware of the clothes. There's not a bunch of clothes behind the register. You don't go to the register to find what clothes they have, right? So the conversion mechanism is it does not matter. I can't like who's in the coaching program that is comfortable telling them. I know we have a few people here, but I don't want to call anybody out. Does anybody in the coaching program mind sharing exactly what we did to build the conversion mechanism or the funnel? If not, don't say anything. Yeah, Christian, appreciate it.
Yeah, so pretty much super basic what and why, and then just a super simple survey. And then as you get more and more clients, then the survey questions become, more detailed and more extensive.
Yeah, it's basically title, optional VSL, survey. That's it. That's the bare minimum, right? Look at the step 2 training. The conversion mechanism means nothing. There's like some guy on TikTok, I can't remember his name. I think it's like James something. And I think he has Down syndrome. And he would watch like sports games. And every time somebody would lose, he'd be like, "What happened?" That was his thing. So, like and, like, my brother and I would send it back and forth because 'cause we'd be like, "Bro, your team lost. Like, here it comes. He's gonna make the video." And it'd be like this, like, really bad video where he's, like, filming the screen and then filming himself, and he's like, "Saints, what happened?" And then he'd be like, "Bro, why'd you send" like, it was just, like, funny because it was like, you made a video on your team. The guy got to, like, he would have over millions of views and millions of likes. He made a shop with, like, merch, sold out. He went on, what's the website where you can, like, pay celebrities to make a video for you? I can't remember what it is. It's like, you pay them and they'll, like, make a video for you, like a shout out video or something. Did somebody put it in the chat? Yeah, Cameo. So somebody would do, like, a Cameo, and, in the Cameo, they'd be like, send a little message. He was doing Cameos for, like, 250, 500 a pop. His conversion mechanism was terrible. His Shopify was so bad. He had a friend set it up for him. It was awful. It doesn't matter. Traffic is key. Fulfillment is key. Traffic will send people to the conversion. You just need to register to check them out. Fulfillment will essentially dictate reputation. If you fulfill poorly, it will fall apart. That is basically the way that it goes. So we have fulfillment capability, conversion mechanism, traffic. So before I get into the traffic generation, any questions on 1 and 2? Because those 2 should be the easiest by far. And I'm saying easiest by far, but I don't want you to think like, "Oh, it's easy, so I can't ask a question." Any question on those? No question on those. Okay. So next, I wanna get into social media content creation, and then I wanna get into, um, the sales process via DMs, okay? So the social media content creation. Who is making content on a regular basis right now? Okay. So remember in the training, and I know some of you aren't there yet, but remember, well, let me ask this before I say this. So no one's making content on a regular basis. Is anybody doing outreach on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Okay. So the key for your outreach to work is going to entirely rely upon the content that you create because what we're trying to do is we're trying to essentially convince them that we can provide with them something that they uh, want. That's basically it, right? So we have to create content that insinuates we can provide them with what they want. We agitate the problem, frame ourselves as a solution, solve the problem, and then have a call to action. From there, what's going to happen is we essentially would um, push them to the conversion mechanism and then close. But the traffic has to do the selling for you, right? So in the content, when we're doing problem agitation, somebody give me an industry and we'll actually, I'll show you guys. And if you're in the coaching program, you'll recognize some of this stuff too. So somebody give me a problem, or well, let's start with this. Somebody give me an industry. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to create content. So we'll hide these two for now. So somebody give me an industry. You don't have to, but I'm going to help you like make free content.
Restaurants.
Okay, so restaurants, and we can do a few of them. So with restaurants, Jacob, give me a problem, a very specific problem that restaurant owners have. More so than like alcoholic and angry.
Okay. Well, the I'd say like that one shitty time of service. Like, it's not. I don't really know how to like pinpoint the actual problem. Okay, so like, fuck, maybe I'm not the guy to say anything. Just
Okay, you're good. Somebody else give me an industry because maybe you'll see it and then it'll.
thinking about it. Yes, we'll talk. You understand?
I was gonna say, I mean, with restaurants, like a lot of them are slow during lunchtime, so getting people in the doors during this, during the slow period, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I just thought of that.
Gotcha. Okay, so slow period during lunch time. So the solution, what would the potential solution be of a slow period during lunchtime? And if you're wondering, this sounds stupid and simple, I promise you it is. I'm going to show you exactly how it turns into social media content.
Offer some lunch promos, maybe.
Okay, so lunch specials, lunch promo, anything else? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Create offers that attract clients during slow periods. That's it, okay? Then we add in this column, frame. Somebody give me a random reason why I should listen to you when it comes to your industry. It could be experience. It could be case study. It could be education. It could be absolutely no reason. The frame means nothing. It is just a reason. I was telling Eric this earlier today. He's in the call, so he'll probably already know. But they did this study where they had people in a line for coffee, and then this guy would come into the restaurant. He's an actor, and he would give one of three reasons to cut in line: no reason, good reason, bad reason. So it would look like this: Hey, can I cut in front of you? No reason. Good reason: Can I cut in front of you? I'm late to work. Bad reason: Can I cut in front of you? It's Tuesday. The people who gave no reason performed the worst. The people who gave a good and a bad reason performed almost equally. The reason means nothing. Just give them a reason. So, uh, that's basically all you have to do. And then you have a call to action at the end, which we don't really need. So somebody give me another industry and another problem. I'm going to show you live how quickly you can make content that resonates.
CPAs,
Okay, cool. Give me a problem for CPAs.
retaining staff and attracting new clientele.
Okay, so let's say attracting and retaining new clientele. And I'll take one more if somebody wants to give me one more.
With the same industry or just
It can be a different industry or same industry, different problem.
all right? I mean, I guess same industry, different issue would be keeping up with compliance changes.
So this is what it would look like. You're going to agitate the problem, not in the form of a question. So you need to agitate with a statement. So if I wanted to make a really bad ad, I would say this: Hey, restaurant owners, are you tired of slow periods during your lunchtime? And you would be like, skip, right? So what you need to do is you need to agitate in a statement. So you'd say, I can't tell you how many times restaurant clients come to me complaining that their lunchtime is just draining them money. Let me show you exactly how to fix that. Why should you listen to me? Experience, because I have 10 years in this industry. Case study, because I took Lisa from 10 to 25K a month with her restaurant. Education, because I have a degree in this. This is all I do. I'm a loser who studies this for absolutely fun. Or you don't have to listen to me, but when you hear what I have to say and it changes your business, then you'll pay attention. And then solution. Here's how you solve the problem. You create offers that are no-brainer lunch deals. Well, think about lunch. You have 30 minutes. You need to essentially get them the food they want to get quickly, and you want to get it for cheaper than other people. So maybe we can do, DoorDash deals. Maybe we can do blah, blah, blah. That's where knowing your industry comes in. But what you're going to do is you're going to say, here's how you fix it. You're going to create offers that attract clients during those slow periods by doing XYZ. And then you have a call to action at the end. If you want me to do this for you or help you out with it, link in bio. Or you just put in your description, hey, link in bio. Any questions on that? No questions on that at all? Okay. So this is how you create your short form and long form content. Short form becomes one sentence. Long form becomes paragraphs. So attracting and retaining new clientele. Create offers that attract new clients and use a dedicated niche specific CRM that retains them without you lifting a finger. So let's look at this example, but now let's look at it in long form. So short form to long form. Long form goes like this. And you can actually even switch the order of A and B. So here's an example of me switching. Hey guys, I'm going to show you exactly how to scale your accounting business to over 3 million in profit every single year. So that's the claim. Case study. If you're wondering why you should listen to me, case study, case study, case study, case study. Now that you've seen that I've done this before, let me go into it. Here's the problem that people deal with that is preventing them from getting to the 3 million in profit per year mark. The difficulty is not only in retaining clientele, but attracting new clientele. So the issue is they're trying to get to a certain level of monthly recurring revenue, but the churn is too high. So we need to essentially plug the leak in the boat, and we need to essentially take on more clients at the same time. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to address the clients we already have before we focus on bringing on new clients, because that's going to improve our reputation. So we do that and then we're going into the solution. But all you're going to do is you're going to expand on these items. And the columns A and B become interchangeable. Not that interchangeable, but they become interchangeable. This is the exact frame you use. Industry, frame, solution, call to action. This is the exact format you use for your long form content, for your short form content. This is it. This content needs to be out before your DMs. Can anybody tell me why this content needs to be out before the DMs take place?
Yeah. So when they click on your profile, they see some good content and not just that you don't have anything, you know what I mean?
That's number one. And that's exactly right. Does anybody know the second one? The second one is for the ultimate downsell. Who remembers the ultimate downsell?
Follow me on my page.
Yeah. The second you feel the conversation is going sour, hey, here's my page. I have a bunch of free stuff on there. If you tell me any problems you're having, I'll make content on it. That's the ultimate downsell. And then you dip. In my experience, I get about a 70% follow rate off that. So if you're DMing or you're talking to 100 people a week or 100 people a month, that's 70 new followers per week or per month. That is going to help. Anything above 50 is going to be really good. If you're below 50, then it's the content creation and the outreach. And then the group engagement. The group engagement goes like this. You join a bunch of groups, you provide value, you make no calls to action, you offer people to ask you questions in the comments, you keep it public, and you tell people, hey, you can ask any question in the comments. I will answer all of them out in the open to show you guys I'm truly here to help. People will DM you unsolicited asking for help. It is not an if, it is not a maybe, it is not a potential. I can assure you they will. Because they're gonna go like, I have it all the time. People will send me a screenshot of my post and they'll be like, hey, I saw you said this, or I saw you commented this under a post. Can you explain that a little bit more? Bam, inbound lead. So the priority goes content creation, couple DMs, and then your group engagement. This is key. Then you're gonna go into your DMs. And that's where you're gonna start essentially trying to push people to the page. And all you're doing when you are agitating problems in the content, so we have right here problems. Guess how else what we can do here? We can find problems that people are having per the marketing audit in SASO University, and that can become the problem. And so guess what you can do in the DMs? Are you ready? It's going to be so simple. It's going to piss you off. I'm telling you, because it did with me too. Instead of making content where you agitate the problem, frame yourself, provide a solution, have a call to action, guess exactly what you're going to do in the DMs. You're going to agitate the problem. You're going to frame yourself as a solution. You're going to offer solutions. You're going to solve a very specific problem, and then you're going to have a call to action. And if at any point they dip during the sales process, which is all done in the DMs, by the way, or if they ignore you, all you are going to do is essentially use the ultimate downsell. That's it. They didn't respond to you after 12 hours. Hey, here's my page if you can follow for more. They tell you, hey, I'm not interested. Hey, no worries. If you have any problems, check out my page and tell me a problem you're having. I'll provide content on it, solve it for you for 100% free. At the bare minimum, you're getting a follower, and that's going to entice somebody else. They go, oh, he has 300 followers. That might be 300 no's that get you to a really big yes. So when you're in the DMs, it can go either way. And if you're wondering, are you sure? I'll tell you right now. Let's switch the order. And I'm going to show you a live example that every single one of you has fallen for. Who has a car? Anybody who has a car? No one has a car? Okay, cool. Eric has a car. Naman has a car. Cool. When you go to the mechanic, how do you know the mechanic can fix your car? Yeah, no, if you want to talk, you can come off mute.
Because I mean, there's other cars in there, and you look them up online, and you see that they
Okay.
don't work.
How do you know who the mechanic is?
What do you mean?
Like you go to the shop, how do you know who the mechanic is?
Sometimes I don't know who the mechanic is.
Usually, what are they wearing though? Like
The overalls or
the
whatever.
overalls, right? If you see him in the overalls, you're probably not going to go, hey, are you the mechanic? Because he's going to be like, yeah, last I checked. That's like that blue collar humor, right? So the frame is the outfit or attire. That's it. And then what's the problem? The problem is car make bad noise. The solution is fix car. That's the whole thing that we all fall for. You go to the doctor, you don't go to the guy in the scrub and you're like, oh, you the doctor? He's gonna be like, yes, this white coat is not for style. That's the frame. It's his outfit. It's his attire. And then you take the problem to him, and then he gives you the solution. And the call to action is go pick up the prescription, or let's schedule surgery, or stop eating 50 bags of Frito-Lays before bed. Right? That's all it is. So when you are going through the sales process, the frame, guess what? If you're creating content, this frames you as a solution. If you're in a group providing value, this frames you as a solution. And then when you get to the actual sales meeting or the DMs, then you can actually come in here and go in this order. Now, when you are agitating a pain point, if you've been to the doctor's agitating a pain point, does the doctor go, "Oh, does this hurt?" and then throw a right hook? No, he's like, or she's like, "Hey, how's this feel?" Tender. They're poking to find the problem, or they're saying, "Do this movement to find a problem," right? So when you go to your marketing offer or your marketing analysis in SASO University, you're going to find a whole list of items that agitate problems. So let me see if I can pull it up really quick. Here it is. And this is in SASO University already. You're going to look at all of these categories. What are the odds that they have all these? Right? You're just going to look at this list and you're going to find the pain point and you're going to poke around it and you're going to make them realize the pain is here. This is the root cause, but the symptoms look like this. So if you don't have a specific target audience, that's the root cause. What's the symptom? Inefficient ad spend, no clear marketing, inefficient content creation. If you don't understand your demographic, your ads aren't optimized. You're bleeding money for no reason. Your sales copy is not honed in. Look for any psychographic information such as interest, values, and lifestyle choices. If you don't have this, then your client or your prospective lead is unable to resonate in their sales copy with potential clients of their own. I can go down the list. These are all just root causes. Do you know we have a guy in our group? He works with pressure washing. His name is Jacob as well. And he uses this right here to land clients because he will see ads on his feed for pressure washers. He'll be like, "You're marketing to me. I'm in Washington. You're in Colorado. I shouldn't be seeing your ads. I can show you how to exactly fix that. I can even do it for you." He will use that to literally land clients because their ads are bad. Consider if there are any niche or specialized segments that they prioritize. You need to have specific offers and niches if you're trying to reduce the amount of competition you're coming up against. So you can go to a new pressure washer and be like, "Hey, you're not focused," meaning, ergo, you are losing to your competition because you have zero competitive advantage. So we get a competitive advantage by essentially focusing in on who we are targeting. This is all done in the DMs. All of this is done in the DM. All done in the DMs. So you agitate the problem in the DMs. This is exactly what we do in the marketing audit. If you look at the outbound messaging challenge in SASO University, this is all you're doing is you're saying, "Hey, I'm looking at your social media or I'm looking at your Google business where it shows how busy you are during lunch. And it looks like you're really slow during lunch. Is that a problem you guys are having?" Yeah, I could fix it. I've actually done the exact same thing for Susan in her restaurant, the whatever. Or I can do exactly how to fix it. This is what I do for a living. I can show you exactly how to fix it. I have a whole degree in this. And I'll tell you exactly how to fix it for free. Oh, okay. Here's how you fix it. Step by step. Here's how you fix it. And if you want, I can, what I do, you can check out my page for more. Or if you'd like, we can set up a call. I can show you how we can do way more in your business. This is the whole DM methodology right here. If I had a virtual assistant reach out to me, like a Fiverr guy reach out to me, and instead of saying, "I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this," if they just reach out to me and said, "Hey, you have a problem, I can show you exactly how to fix it if you want." That right there is going to validate that they know what they're talking about. And so when I need more help, I'm going to go right back to them. Why would I go out of my way to find somebody if the characteristics of finding the solution are find somebody I can trust that can solve the problem? Why wouldn't I go to the guy who just showed me how to solve a problem for free? And then he pushes the call to action. "I'm not interested. Oh, check out my page." And then guess what? I'm making problem agitating content that is showing them, "Oh, you got an injury here. You got an injury there. You got this that didn't heal right." They're gonna be like, "Dang, I think I need to get in and see this like doctor. I think I need to take my car in because I didn't know that my car wasn't supposed to go grr, 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 grr every time I turned." Right? That's the whole point. So the big issue is a lot of people think I have to close on the initial DM outreach. No, you don't. The best thing that you can do is if they don't close, the ultimate downsell. "Hey, no worries. I've got free content on the page." And then the page retargets. Why Facebook? Because they're going to be on Facebook anyway before they're on Google Business. And on Facebook, we can use 4, actually 5 modes of communication. You can go text, image, short form video, long form video, stories. And you're going to rotate those just like we covered in the step 3 training because that's going to resonate with the most amount of people. The biggest issue I see for people who get leads and then they burn out, this is the biggest issue I see. Ready? They create content for 1 week, they go into DMing, they stop the content, and then the flow ends. Like, well, why'd the flow end? Because you're not going to convert in the DMs. You think about how inefficient that'd be time-wise. It's the equivalent of doing 2 to 4 hours of cold calls. Your content is going to be where it converts. You push to the page, you let the content convert. ADA framework. It's exactly what it is. When you get them on the sales call, you're going to follow the ultimate SWAS closing framework, but it basically looks like this. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions on your current state. I'm going to pull out all of the emotion. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions on the future state of where you want to be. I'm going to pull out all kinds of emotion. I'm going to ask you why you haven't solved this in the past. I'm going to ask you why you're on the sales call with me. And then I'm going to show you how I can solve this problem. And then I'm not going to mention the price. They will say, so how much does it cost? And then I'm going to essentially downplay my price. And then I'm going to justify my price. That is the exact framework. And if somebody wants to role play, I will show you very quickly how that looks. If not, I can just have like a conversation with them. I'll get like sock puppets and I'll make it like really awkward.
Yeah, sure. I got you.
Okay, cool. So you're working with accountants, right? CPAs?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through. You're the CPA, I'm you, okay? Just make up like hypotheticals. Or
Are these price objections or just anything in general?
no, so just be a CPA. I know you just had like some conversations with some over the weekend. So just kind of replicate that. Ready? It's like super, super simple. Don't overthink it too much.
All right.
So here's how it goes, right? I go like this. So we get on the call. This is exactly how it goes. Hey, Christian, really appreciate you hopping on the call. I know you're a busy man. I want to just go ahead and jump right into it just because I respect your time. I don't want to waste any of your time. This is how these calls usually go. So right there, building rapport, showing confidence, taking charge of the call. This is how these calls usually go. I'm going to ask you some questions about how your business is doing. I'm going to ask you some questions about some of the problems you're having. I'm going to ask you about where you want to take the business. And then we'll just ask a few other questions from there. Once we're done, that'll be the whole thing. And then we'll head out. Okay. Fair. Sound good?
yeah, sounds good.
Cool. So what I'm doing is I'm telling him this is how it will go. Okay. Sometimes on the sales calls, this is what's going to happen. And I'll see if anybody knows how to handle this objection. Do this. Yeah, I don't really care. What's the price? Does anybody have like a firm or a solid way that you would address that question or that issue that they have?
Yeah. So you would say, well, I can't really give you the price. I gotta get a better gist of the issues you're having and your day to day to see if I can even help you in the first place.
Yes. Here's one thing I'll add on to that. I give them a range because if they can't handle my lowest price point, I'm not going below that. So for me, my range is 4 to 10K. So I'll be like, hey, I can't give you an exact price. Exactly what you said. I can't give you an exact price. What I can tell you is the range is between 4 and 10K, depending on the list of problems that you want me to solve and the severity of them. Now, if that 4K, which is my lowest number, scares you away, let's go ahead and wrap up the call now. Save you some time, save me some time. And if they say no, I'll be like, cool. And then you know right away it's not gonna be a money issue. And if it does scare them away, cool. You just bought back an hour of your time, which you can't really buy time. So you just bought an hour of your time. So I like using that because disqualifying will make your life a lot easier. Imagine you got 100 people to deal with, and after your whole sales call, at the end, you mention the price, and then they jump. You're like, "Oh, I just wasted 50 minutes of my day, and I got 99 more of these to go." Right? So if they throw that at you, be like, "Oh yeah, so here's what I can tell you. This is the range." They go, "Well, why can't you give me?" Well, when you go to the mechanic, imagine you pull your car and he meets you outside. He goes, "Hey, 2K." You're like, "2K? I'm trying to get brake pads changed. What are you talking about? 2K? I wanted my air filters replaced. What are you talking about? 2K, right?" You don't go to the doctor and they're like, "We got to cut the leg." Like, cut the leg? What are you talking about? Like, you don't even know what's going on. Like, I came in because I was coughing, not like cut the leg, right? So I use those analogies all the time. Like, have you ever gone to a mechanic and they just gave you a price without popping the hood? No. Okay. So why would I do that to you? If they did that, you would immediately know they're ripping you off, right? Right. So isn't that not the same case here? Oh yeah. Okay. I'll get that. And if they're still fighting you, that's the red flag. Just be like, hey, you know what? I think we should just go ahead and end it here. It's your own business. If they are being that difficult, you don't have to work with them. You do not have to work with them. If you think you do, Google how many clients you have within your industry. You only need about 900 a month to make $1 million a year. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So in the sales process, right? So if I'm talking to Christian, he's an accountant. I'm playing the role of Christian. Here are the questions, right? And Christian just make up random numbers. So what's the most important measurement in terms of metric for a CPA? Like, what's the most important thing that determines or dictates whether you're being successful or not?
Bottom line profit.
Bottom line profit. Cool. Do you mind if I ask, and you don't have to share anything you don't want to share, what's your current profit monthly?
200K.
Okay, cool. 200K. What are the problems what are you trying to solve? Like 200K is not bad. Like, what are the problems that you're trying to solve? Is it like a scaling issue? Is it an optimizing issue? Are you trying to do less work? What's that look like?
Turnover rate.
Okay, cool. Of clients, I'm assuming?
No, of staff.
Okay, so you're trying to reduce your employment costs and overhead.
Yeah.
And how long does somebody stay with you for?
About 18 months.
Great. And what are you trying to get that number to?
3 to 4 years.
Great. So already all I'm doing is having a natural conversation with Christian, right? Whatever answer he gives me, I'm using that to get more discovery. So right now, would it make sense for me to go, oh, we're going to do SEO?
No.
No. We are asking him, we are playing doctor, and we are agitating the pain. We are figuring out where it hurts. If he's making 200K profit, is he having an issue with revenue? No. 200K a month, he's not having an issue with revenue. He's having an issue with profit. And what is the issue with the profit? It's the turnover. So we're figuring out what the problem is, and then we're figuring out where it wants to be. So now I'm going to ask questions. If it's about employment, I should probably ask questions about what? Workplace culture, benefits, is pay competitive or not? Right? And then from there, I need to essentially bridge the gap. Well, if you are keeping people for 18 months and you want to keep them for closer to 36 to 48 months minimum, then we need to essentially look at A, B, and C. And here are the benefits of doing such. And here's the process that we go through. We're going to come in and we're going to interview all the employees that have been there the longest. We're going to interview the employees that have been there the shortest. We're going to see if any employees that just recently left are open to an exit interview if you haven't done them already. I want to look at your benefits package. I want to look at how much you're paying them. I want to look at the competition in the area. I want to ask them in interviews, are you getting offers from other people? What's the stress look like? And then from there, we need to essentially understand who's doing most of the work. Is there too much pressure in one spot or another, or not enough on certain people that could pick up the slack? And then we're going to go through the SASO process. Let's simplify as much of the work and remove the waste. Let's automate anything we can. And now we can assign work and identify people who are doing too much or too little. And we're going to do this whole process for you. We're going to give you a report, and then you can do what you want to do. But when we've done it in the past, usually these are the results that we've gotten. That's basically like the whole path of the interview itself. It's just all it is a conversation. And have I mentioned price at all? No. So if we look into the price now, this is what it'd be like. Oh, we're going to do this, 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 and this, and we're going to fix all these issues. And at this point, we're towards the end of the call because I've understood current, where it needs to be, assess the gap. And then from there, I'm basically going to figure out he's at 200K in revenue or 200K in profit.
Probably should have said just revenue because,
Sure.
for the example, but
Sure. So he's at 200K in revenue, and he's at, let's say only 100K in profit, or let's say even lower, like 50K in profit, and he wants to get to like 70K in profit. So then Christian asked me like, well, how much does it cost? Yeah, I can recap a little bit. But Christian asked me how much it costs just for the package.
yeah. So for the package A, B, and C, what's the cost upfront, and then is there any cost going forward?
Yeah, so this is what it looks like, right? You're trying to go from 50 to 70K in profit per month, correct?
Yeah.
So notice I didn't say here's the cost. So I'm acknowledging the gap financially, 50 to 70K. So that's about 20K. Usually it would make sense for me to solve this problem for about, depending on how much this sounds like in my opinion, not in the sales call, this sounds like a done for you one timer. And you can tell them this sounds like it'd be a one time fixed solution. So what that means is whatever it costs for the first month, every month the money you make additionally would just be extra profit, right? Because you're not going to pay me after the first month. Because once I come in and give you the consulting package, full report, show you how to fix the whole thing. After that, it's done, right? So you're at 20K, you want to hit 20K every single month additional in profit. It would make sense if you're trying to add additional 240K to your bottom line. It would make sense for me to come in and say, I could do this for 40% of that problem. That would make sense, right? Because again, it's going to fix every time. Here's the cool thing. I'm not going to do it for 40%. What I can do is I can actually come in and I can do it for roughly 15% at a 30K package. Again, you would be making an additional 240 per year for a one-time payment of a 30K package. And, and then, so that's where we diminish the price. So it could be this, I'm going to do it for way less. And you saw Christian's face was like, that's what they would do in the call. Cause they'd be like, whoa, like, oh, it could be that. That would make sense. Cause I'd basically be telling you, you're going to pay me, 80K and I'm going to make 240K. That's not a bad trade, but I'm even lowering it way further and saying, hey, it's only 30 or 40K. And then you want to validate. So we diminish and then we validate. So how do we validate? When have you seen someone solve a $240,000 problem per year for under 20K? Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen somebody build a $240,000 home for less than 20K? No. You can ask them, like, can you give me an example? And they're not going to be able to provide you one. And we're talking about like big boy money. Let's talk about like little kid money, right? You want to go from 2 to 8K a month. That's 6K a month. So it would make sense for me to come in and charge you 600 a month for literally a 1,000% return on investment, right? A 10x ROI. And they'd be like, okay, I'm actually going to come in and do it for 297. So right under 5% of the problem, I'll fix it for 297 a month. And then they'll go, well, it might be a little high. Okay, well, when have you seen a problem of $6,000 be solved by only $50 or only $100? And then they're going to be forced to answer the question on the spot. They won't be able to answer it. And they'll be like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And then you get into, well, the price validation. Is it a cash flow issue or do you not see the value? It's cash flow. Cool. Break it into payments. We can close right now. We're breaking into payments. Well, it's a value issue. Okay. So you're at this problem. You're at that problem. This is bleeding you money. I've already framed myself showing you the solution. Usually what happens is when people say it's X, Y, and Z, they're usually just hesitant to pull the trigger. Or they're usually hesitant because they don't like spending money. So if we had some kind of a guarantee that if I were unable to achieve this goal, you either A, got your money back, or B, I would stay with you until we did, would that make you feel better?
Yeah.
That's what it boils down. It just boils down to a conversation. I don't know if my wife will say yes. Does your wife know you've had these problems for 18 months? All the questions we're asking in the lead up, right? How long have you had these problems? For 18 months. Does your wife know you've been having these problems for 18 months? Yeah. Is it stressful? Does she know it's stressful? Yeah. So if you came to her with a solution that was less than 8% of the worth of the cost the problem causing you, and we're not even talking about the emotional toll, just the financial, do you think that she would be happy that you had a solution lined up, or do you think she'd be unhappy? Happy. Okay, cool. So here's what we can do. We can put a down deposit and lock you in. And if the wife tells you, I absolutely hate it because I have a good reason, or just because I don't like how big his head is, then I'll give you your money back. But the deposit will lock you in at this price rate. It's just all about finding a solution with them. It's not you versus them. They think it's you versus them. You have to come alongside them. The only way that you can truly make it you with them instead of you versus them is if they are not a good fit, don't work with them. So let's say you're in the marketing and they come to you and they're like, hey, we have an issue with turnover. I'm not your guy. I understand the problem. I understand the value in solving your problem. However, my specialty lies here. I don't think I'd be a really good fit for what you're doing. I don't want to waste your time. What I can do is I could maybe redirect you to somebody who could solve that problem, but I don't think it's me. Because if you take on somebody that you can't help, what's going to happen? And Christian, you were actually the one that said this, right? What's going to happen if you take on a problem that you can't solve?
Bad reputation.
Bad reputation. If you can't fulfill, it becomes bad. It becomes the reputation question right here. No fulfillment, bad reputation. So it actually helps you to say, hey, I don't know how to do that. I've never done that. Hey, that's not my specialty. That actually strengthens you, more reputable, right? So the whole process, if you like wanted to, like the best advice I can give you is this tab right here. If you understand their pain points and then you research how your competition is solving this, and then you position yourself antithetically to be different and better to immediately attract people, the frame is going to essentially help you with the whole process. This structure right here will help you the whole process. I have no idea who that guy is, Jacob. No idea. But no, this is the whole frame. This is the frame for the short form. This is the frame for the long form. This is the frame for the DM conversation. This is the frame for your case studies. This is the frame for your video sales letter. It's all this. You're just rotating the problems that you're agitating. You're rotating the frame. You're rotating the solution. This is all you need. So for you guys, I'll wrap up with some actual advice and then see what questions you guys have. For you guys, I'm sure this meeting felt like super simple and probably not as flashy as some of you may have expected. At the end of the day, that mastering the fundamentals is what will make you the most amount of money as fast as possible. So violence of action, fulfillment capability. You go to Fiverr, you find somebody who can do what you want them to do. You test them out and then you push them to retainer. Conversion mechanism. You build a funnel. The funnel is title, video sales letter, which is optional because until you have case studies, you don't need it. So it's just title, calendar. The calendar questions are what's your name, phone, email? Where are you currently? Where do you want to be? Do you understand there's a time and or financial commitment? Don't put in your questions, where are you, where you want to be? Put, how are you performing on this metric that I know is important in this industry? So if you're talking to accountants, how many clients do you service on a monthly rate, on a quarterly rate? How many do you want to service on a quarterly basis? If you're talking to HVAC guys, how many homes do you service on average a month? How many do you want to service on average a month? If your focus is employment turnover, how long do people work with? How long do people stay with you? How long do you want them to stay with you? Just two very simple questions to understand the gap. And then, do you understand there's a time and or financial commitment? You put that in there. So when you sign them and when you get your sales call and when they want to work with you, you let them know, hey, I can't just take this and run with it. I have to have conversations with you based on where you are. And I need to understand what I'm creating because I can't say you offer this if I don't know what you offer. So there's a conversation. And I need to understand that if you're going to be on the sales call with me, don't get on if you think it's going to happen tomorrow for free. It's going to take time. It's going to take money. If you want somebody to lie to you, then go to any one of the millions of scammers out there and you can waste your money. That's all the conversion mechanism is. I've seen some guys, all they do is they have a link in their bio. It says how I did X to Y, how we got them from X to Y. It's a link to a funnel or a YouTube video. And it's just the video sales letter, case study. And then in the description is just a Jot form link or a Google form link. They fill it out, they get the information, they just text them. Or they fill it out, they book a call. Like you do not need a crazy conversion mechanism. It's dead. It's overplayed. Nobody uses it anymore. Limit, if everybody has ADHD, limit their attention span. I want you to focus on one thing, this case study. And in the case study, I have one call to action, link in the bio. And in the link in the bio, there's no flash, there's no nothing. It's just, what do I want you to do? It's either A, fill out a form, or B, book a call and answer questions to go with it. Those are your two options. That's it. And then we go into traffic where all you're doing is right here. Agitate the problem, frame yourself as a solution, list the solution, call to action. That is the entire structure that you need. It's just that. That's the entire structure that you need. Remember, when you agitate the problem, we use statements, not questions. I don't even, and Landon, I'll pick on you since you came in and I know you had questions about how to do it. What industry you're in? You can either talk on the mic or you can just comment if you don't want to, talk. But what's your industry?
Kind of focusing on landscapers, although
Great. I love landscapers. They're my favorite.
we'll go with that.
Cool. So landscapers, lawn care, give me a problem you think they have.
I don't know. They just want more clients.
Lack of clients. Do you have any experience or case studies or past wins? Cool. Ready? And how can we solve for lack of clients? We can organically attract clients in your local area using with no variable costs. Call to action. Do you want them to fill out a form or book a call with you?
Let's fill out a form.
So you guys saw how quickly we just came up with the entire script. We're not going to say, hey, landscapers, are you sick of having no clients because you suck? No. You're going to say, I can't tell you. This is my personal favorite. I can't tell you how many landscapers come to me and they say, I have seasons where I have a ton of clients. I have seasons where nobody reaches out to me. And they basically get frustrated with the fact that their revenue is inconsistent. Let me show you exactly how to solve that. Right there, I've identified the pain point. Now, this is the part where you have to explain why you should listen to me. Because again, if I tell you you need to eat vegetables and fruit, and a nutritionist tells you the exact same thing, who are you going to listen to? The nutritionist, right? For the simple fact that they're more educated, they have more experience. I could tell you the exact same information. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The frame makes everything. So ready? I can't tell you how many lawn care guys or landscape guys come to me and they say they have an inconsistent flow of clients during the busy or slow season. And so they essentially have inconsistent revenue. So they don't really know how to budget, causes a lot of frustration. Let me show you exactly how to solve that. Landon, picking on Landon, doesn't have any experience or case studies. So ready? Here's how he validates. Here's how he makes you care. And if you're wondering why you should listen to me, I really don't care. You don't have to listen to me. It doesn't bother me either way because I'm going to make this video either way to help you. What I can tell you is when you listen to what I have to say and when it helps you make a lot of money, then you can come back and actually pay attention. I have no experience. I just made that up, right? Here is exactly how we solve the problem of inconsistent and lack of clients. What you need to do is step one, you need to optimize your local Google business profile. This is going to help attract local clients in your area. Keyword, local. Have I said local enough? What this will do is it will ensure that they're not too far from you. So you're saving money on gas. And because it's all organic, it will be within your area. So it's actually based on proximity. So people near you will find you. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use a specific CRM that once you have clients, it's going to attract or it's going to invite them to leave a review. The more reviews we get, the higher up you're going to be on Google Business Profile, meaning the more eyeballs will see you. The cool thing is we can do this with zero variable costs. We're going to do it for a flat fee per month, which means it's predictable. Unlike your clients right now. I'm messing. We're going to fix that. If you want me to fix this for you, you can fill out the form in the bio. Or if you want to do it yourself, all you have to do is go online, go to YouTube, Google exactly how to set up all this stuff. You can find it all there. It'll take you about 2 to 3 weeks to master. Or again, you can let me do what I do best. That's the whole social media script right there. That's for short form. If I want to go long form, I'm going to talk about each item for a few paragraphs. So agitate the problem, probably 2 to 3 paragraphs. Frame myself, 1 paragraph. Don't make it about you. Nobody cares. If you watch YouTube videos, every time the guy like, hey, this is why you should listen to me, or he does his intro, you're like, skip. Like, I don't care. Like, get to the stuff, right? And then solution should be like 5 to 10 paragraphs. And then call to action should be 1 sentence. And I always like to invite people, if you go long form, in your long form call to action, I like to tell them, you can do it yourself. You 100% can. Just like I can go learn how to mow my own lawn. I could watch a YouTube video about those two dudes in India or the Amazon, and I can learn how to dig a pool in the ground with sticks and mud, and I could do it by myself. Why don't I do that? So I want it done the right way the first time, quickly. Well, do you want to do the same thing? Right? You're a landscaper. You want to go on YouTube and learn how to do it yourself? No, let me do it for you. This is what I do. And you can even diminish your price by saying, this costs less than 1/100th of what I'm going to make you on your first client. If you're dealing with these landscaping guys, like especially like pool guys who are making like 70 to 80K a client, this is going to cost you less than 1%. I mean, less than 1% of what I'm going to get you off the first job we went. And free for 30 days. So if you hate it on day 29, you can fire me. I'll take all the risk. That's your whole format right there. I'm going to agitate the pain point by talking about direct and indirect consequences. I'm going to frame myself as why you should listen to me. And if you have no experience, you can say, I have no experience. You can leverage that. So Landon, I'm you, you're a landscaper. I'm just going to keep picking on you because you're participating. So I'm just going to keep making you regret showing up. So I'm you, you're a landscaper. Tell me, just basically say something along the lines of like, I'm concerned you can't do it because you haven't done it before or you have no experience.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just zoned out.
You're basically
Ain't no way to get-
all I was saying, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna pick on Landon. He was like, disassociate immediately. Basically, like, if you have no experience, I'm you, you're a landscaper. Tell me you have no experience.
I'm so confused. Right?
Like, so you said you have no experience, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in a sales meeting, a landscaper might tell you you have no experience. Why should I work with you? Right.
Mhm.
So to role play, I want you to tell me as if I'm you, just like, hey, you don't have any experience. Why should I work with you? Do you see what I'm saying?
Not at all.
No. Christian, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, basically just tell me you have no experience. Like, that's the objection, right? You're like, hey, work with me. And they're like, well, why would I? You have no experience.
You have no experience. Why
All
would
you're
I?
going to say is this, ready? You're right. I have no experience. That's why the price is what the price is. Here's the thing though. When I get experience, my price is going to shoot up to this new rate that is going to be triple, quintuple, quadruple, whatever kind of crazy syllable word, more than what it is right now. So you're right. Right now, the setup fee is $1,000. When I get more experience and when I get more case studies, my setup fee is going to be closer to 7,000. And if you don't believe me, you can go to any one of my competitors. You can pay them the 7,000 if that's something in your budget. Or you can take full advantage of the fact that I have no experience. And that's why I'm charging you a 7th, a 10th, a 20th of what I should be charging you. So anything that you have as like, when it comes to frame, any portion or any hurdle that you think you may have, you just leverage it into an advantage every single time. You haven't been doing this for long. You're absolutely right. That's why I'm giving you no setup cost and a free 30-day trial. You think I'd be doing that if I was crushing? Absolutely not. And that's why I'm taking all the risk because I haven't proven myself yet. Let's say you have tons of experience, right? I have tons of experience. That's why I'm charging what I have to charge because I don't need the money. So I can get away with charging 10,000. Well, somebody can do it cheaper. Cool. Go hang out with them. Well, why would I pay you the 10,000? Because when you pay me 10,000, the odds that I get you to the number you want to get are significantly higher than if you pay Joe Schmo the exact same amount or a lesser amount. So anything that you have that is a potential hurdle just becomes leveraged. It comes from, I don't know if any of you guys do improv, but it comes from like the losers that do like improv theater. They all do yes and. Yes and. So the whole skit in improv is whatever somebody does, you have to keep it going by saying yes and. That's the whole point. That's the whole like gist of like improv 101. They're like, oh, grandma died. Yes, and we have to go to her funeral and we can only wear yeah, exactly. Is his name actually Vin Go? It's something like that, right? He talks about the exact same concept. It's just yes and. Any problem becomes leveraged into a solution. Every single problem becomes leveraged into a solution. And it just shows more confidence. Like, bro, you are ugly. Yes, that's why I sit behind a desk all day and I'm a nerd and I consume content all day long. You want ugly guys like me working. If I was extremely beautiful, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be out modeling for Calvin Klein and probably talking to your wife, right? Like, right? Like you can leverage everything is a yes and, right? Everything. I want to talk to the wife about it. Yes. And when you speak to her, is she going to resonate with the same pain points you told me? Is she aware of the same pain points? Would she be happy if we had solved this problem? So why not go to her and let her know, hey, we solved this problem? How much more relieved would you be? How much more relieved would she be? Right? It all, whatever you could throw me any hurdle, it's going to be a yes and. That's all objection handling is. It is yes and. That is it. So I know we went a little over like we always do. Any questions or anything? Again, this is like a super like just watered down, boiled down process, but it works just the best. It is sheer balance of action. This is sheer violence of action. You have to be fast with it. The faster in which you can test, the faster in which you will identify what works and scale it. The faster you can scale, the faster you can optimize. The faster you can build your offer, your mechanism, and your social media content, the faster you can get to DMing people. If you don't do those three things, then you can never get to DMing people. Or it's going to take you 3.5 months to get there. Yeah, Christian.
Yeah. So you mentioned, for us, step one is obviously fulfilling and getting those processes in place. But pure hypothetical, if you have limited cash flow, and even if you can't hire like a Fiverr guy or an Upwork guy for cheaper before you start setting up the funnel, um, is really the only option to fulfill yourself the first two or three people.
If well, the best thing to do would be, I have a YouTube video where I cover this. The best thing would be collect the upfront payment if you don't want to learn how to fulfill your own. Collect the upfront payment. The way you entice them to pay upfront when you don't even have you don't even need a high level account set up. Okay, you really don't. You can just go straight into the content creation. Not even you can do a Google form as your conversion mechanism. I kid you not. And you build a wait list. Here's how you get them to sign up for the wait list. This is what you tell them. I'm going to give you access to the full software for a lifetime value. It's going to be $1,000. When it goes live, it will be $97 a month, which means that after roughly 10, 11 months, you will start making money back on this. I will start losing money on you as a client. So you will gain lifetime access. The first 10 people who get on this wait list will gain access to the $1,000 lifetime membership. The second 10 people will gain access to the $2,000 lifetime membership. I'm not taking more than 20 people. Once 20 is hit, that's it. Because at that point, I'm losing money. The whole purpose of me doing this is so I can launch my business. I just tell people straight up, like some people are like, well, do you have to like buy this? And no, I'm collecting upfront payment so I can launch my business. To entice you to join, I'm going to give you lifetime values. That's the whole thing you do. And then you turn around once you have a list of 20 and you go, hey, we're going live. Let's say only three, or even only two. That's minimum 2K. Now you can go, cool. Now I'm going to pay a Fiverr guy, let's say $300 to fulfill each client. And that's really being dramatic. So cool. Now I'm at 1,600 down. I'm paying for the 97 or 297 plan. And I have enough money to last me at least 5 or 6 months. And now I have everything set up. Now I can build a funnel instead of having just a little stinky Google form, which again, you can do for free and have the value shoot out to an Excel sheet. And then from there, cool. Now I can actually scale up and do this the right way. So it's kind of a longer winded answer, but the short answer is collect the payment up front. If you have the skill set, because I have the skill set and I have VAs on retainer. What I do with my VAs on retainer, because I already have clients, I go like this. If I want a client tonight, within like the next hour, I'm going to DM people, agitate a pain point. And I was telling Eric this story. You can ask Imram the story because I was actually sending him the live screenshots when it happened. The date was June 6th, 2023. I kid you not. It was the day after I moved to Florida. DM'd 4 people, closed one of them. That's a 25% conversion on outbound, which is like disgusting. All I did was this, ready? Look for people with no website. This was what I DM'd them. Hey, looking for your website, don't see it. Can you send it to me? If they don't have a website, that's a painful ask. Painful. He then has to say, I don't have one. I go, oh, well, if you want, I can do it for you. No setup cost, free for 30 days. So you can test it out. I'll actually make you money before you pay me money. And if you hate it on day 29, you can fire me. I take all the risk. So if you have the skill set or a team on file or a team on standby, you can go straight into that. No setup fee, free for 30 days. If you do not have a team, then you go into lifetime value. That's basically it. Those are your 2 routes you go. And again, if you're wondering like, well, do I do this or do I do that? Like what's the route I take? Keep it just super simple. Just go with one of those 2 things, right? The pain points, you find them by looking at their socials, their websites, and looking at what's good and what's bad. So I have the marketing audit that you can find in SASO University. That's just like a checklist of things to look at, but you just find it by what's working, what's not working. And then you have to explain everything is in B2B, everything is make money. Bottom line is making money, right? So it has to be a direct or indirect causation of them not making money. No clients, no money. Losing employees, costing you money, losing money. Inefficiency, spending too much time working, time is money, you're losing money. So I can automate it, therefore making you time back, therefore making you money back, because you can either get your time back or you have more time to make more money. Everything is B2B. But look at the problems that are hindering their growth. And if you look at the SASO University training where it's the triangle ascension offer model, the more advanced they are, they have fewer problems, but the problems are deeper in severity. They're more severe. If they're younger, they have a ton of problems, but none of them are severe. I don't have a website, I don't have a Google business, I don't have an automation, I don't have an offer. We can do all that in a week. You go to these really advanced guys, like the example Christian gave, where I'm making $200K a month, but my retention is terrible. Great, that's one problem, but it's extremely severe. Now, the more severe the problem, the more you can charge. Not because you're adding value, but because with severe problems, you need a specialist to solve it. When we deal with specialists, there's fewer people, ergo, there's fewer competition, ergo, you can charge more because the market demand is not met in terms of supply. Anybody can do what we're doing with the very low ticket done for you client acquisition, and say anybody can. What's the barrier to SaaS? Sign up in a high level. That's it, right? That's why you're only charging 97. That's why when people say you can charge $497 for a missed call text back feature, it's like, bro, you are so full of crap. That is a scam. There's a red flag scam affiliate right there. And if you are charging somebody $497 or $597 for a missed call text back feature, that is disgusting and not in a good way. Like, that's just a POS kind of move. Does that kind of answer your question in terms of finding the pain points? Find the pain point and then use that structure. Problems, solutions, and then you put the frame in the middle. And for you having no experience, who cares? I don't have any experience, but when I tell you, when you try what I tell you and it works, then you'll come back to me and you'll pay attention. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares about the frame. Just give them a reason. Why should you listen to me? Because my hat is really cool. Why should you listen to me? Because I can do this. And then, like, I don't know, flick a booger across the screen. The reason doesn't matter. You can even use like self-deprecating dry humor to like really resonate with them. They're like, wait, what? It doesn't matter. Just give them a reason. And then I know, Landon, you said you had a question at the end. Was that the question or was it separate?
No, something else.
Okay,
Alright.
what's up?
Have you heard of, like I've seen people, they start businesses in, for example, let's say it's a cleaning company, but they're just the middleman. So they'll find clients and then they'll go out and hire a cleaning company to go clean the house and then, charge the client more than they're paying the cleaning company. They'll keep that profit.
Mhm.
So they can just do everything remote. Let's say I was to start that company.
Yeah.
Kind of, or someone was, how would you go about, from
Right.
zero?
Yeah. So number one, and this is going to be key, I'm never putting a single person on payroll, because the minute you put them on payroll, so for example, I'm not an accountant, so this is not accounting advice. When you are a single member and you have an LLC, you do not need an S corp like all the dropshippers told you. You only need to look at S corp or diversifying your LLC when you have multiple people on staff or when you're dealing with like assets, like property.
Mm.
Um, so from there, just want you to understand, you're not going to hire anybody yourself. What you're going to do is you are going to essentially manage them via contracts. So this is called subcontracting. They will send you a bill, you will pay the bill. Why do we like subcontracting? So not only is there a tax benefit of the single member pass through, again, I'm not an accountant, so don't take this as accounting advice. The benefit is that you have no overhead. So you don't have to pay them every month. So, oh, I don't have clients. Well, you still got to pay me. I'm on payroll. Nope, don't have to do that. That means you don't need to have insurance for them. You don't need to have employment tax for them, which means you not only have to pay them, you have to also pay taxes on employing them. You don't have to pay insurance for them. You don't have to pay for any benefits for them. You don't, if they sue you, there's no way that they're going to sue you for, you know, employment rights because you're not employing them. You're paying their boss's company who will handle them. So we go single member. My favorite part, and this sounds like really dark and twisted, but my favorite part is you can fire them whenever. So if the economy hits and you're paying them by job, hey, I'm not going to pay you the work because I don't have anybody paying me, so I'm not going to pay you. And you collect your profits and you hang tight until the recession or whatever is over.
Mhm.
So that's the benefit. The benefit is that there's minimal overhead and you can cut ties whenever you want. That's the massive benefit. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to essentially, it's location based. So I'm going to probably work in bigger cities, land contracts, and then I'm going to call smaller teams. I'm going to basically say, hey, I have a job for you. Can you do it? Here's the details. And I'm basically just going to mitigate between the two, digital project management. And I would get my own cleaning CRM, which you can do through High Level, but you can also get niche specific software that is tailored to the industry. And when you put in a job, they see it on their calendar. And that's all I'm going to do. And again, I've actually worked with cleaning companies before, but they're industrial. So what I can do, just to show you how easy this is I can like live right now show you the exact way I would do it. So Landon, throw me a city.
We'll say Miami.
Cool. Miami, cleaning services. Are you working residential or are you doing commercial?
I was thinking residential.
Great. Residential is going to be higher profit margin, smaller dollar. Doesn't matter whatever way. So I'm going to click more businesses. These people up top are going to be probably pretty good. 91, 525, but they're probably going to be pretty expensive.
Mhm.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort by, you can do, here it is. I'm going to go, let's say like 3 stars and up. And I'm just going to go and look, there's 255 pages. I'm going to probably just go as far as I can. Here we go. 12 reviews. This is a smaller business, right? This is probably who I'm going to, and look at the reviews. 12 stars or 12 5-star ratings. This is funny because this website, I forget who I was speaking to, but I can already tell you this is like a Google website. I was talking to somebody earlier today. I think it might have been Eric, and it was like a lawyer's website that looked almost identical to this. It's like the layout. So I can tell you this is a free website. We are a small company in housing cleaning, English and Spanish, which is awesome. Focus is in Spanish, clearly. And so these are the people who I'm going to call, and I'm going to basically figure out what their pricing is if it's not already listed. Yeah, it's not listed.
How would you pitch that to them? I mean, would you just be like, hey, I have clients and I'll send you over there, or I'll send you clients?
I've got a client who wants this cleaning done. I've already landed them. This is the scope of the project. What's your pricing?
So
And
you land that first.
beforehand, I would do some research and figure out basic rates. So like how would I map out the formula for someone cleaning a house. Usually what you're going to look at for cleaning, different cleaning jobs are going to range between 25 cents per square foot to $1.50 per square foot, depending on the type of clean. So I want to make sure I understand the formula. From there, I want to increase 10, 20 cents. And then I want to start basically handling these gigs. And all I'm going to do is marketing. I'm going to create a TikTok and a Facebook. The Facebook, I'm going to make problem agitating content. The TikTok, I'm going to make problem agitating content. But on the TikTok, I'm going to repost a bunch of cleaning content, as much cleaning content as possible. And I'm going to
That
focus.
Facebook ads or something.
Yeah, you can run Facebook localized ads. It can be problem agitating. It can be before and after image ads. And I'm going to test and see what works with my target audience. I'm going to focus on higher income individuals because I know they have the money and they want the quality. And then I need to make sure that I'm crystal clear on the quality that I want when it comes to cleaning. And I need to make sure that they know when they're done cleaning, I get pictures before they leave. Otherwise, they're not going to get paid.
Right. How does that work though? If they're talking to the client, they're at their house or something, they're like, oh
The
yeah,
clients, you can let them know you can let your client know, hey, you need to be out of the house when we're cleaning. Or you can let them know, do not speak to the client under any circumstances.
But then you're not there to to monitor.
No, but there's always going to be that kind of a risk.
Right. Cool.
But yeah, you can, I mean, you want to do cleaning for Airbnb guys or right? Like that's like a really big.
Yeah. I know those. I know you can. You can charge a good amount for that, and then it's also like weekly or
Right. Weekly, daily, monthly, every 2.5 moons, right? Whatever the scheduling is, right?
right. Yeah.
But yeah, you can do that with anything. You can do that with landscaping. But the issue there is, the concern there is the inability to maintain, like you said, quality. So you would have to vet them. And that's why I said 12 5-star reviews. That's not bad. It shows their quality's there, but it shows that they're not good at the business.
Right.
So for you, it's just a matter of, and like, even if I were to do it myself, there's going to be mistakes because you're relying on other people. There's going to be things that fall. And so that's where you have to have some kind of guarantee, and you have to have contracts with the contractors. That's why they're called contractors, where if they don't deliver, then they don't get paid, or, yada, yada, yada. Sometimes you have to pay for a job poorly done and take a bad review. Like there's going to be a learning curve and process of it happening. But what's cool is if you scale a cleaning company remotely, then you can also teach people how to do the same thing. So here's what's really cool. You can record yourself start to finish building this business, failing, messing up, learning, fixing it, pivoting, triumphing, ups and downs, the moments where you're like tearing your hair out, want to cry, the moments where you're like, I'm so sick of freaking blah, 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 who messed up the cleaning job. The moments where you're like, oh, we just landed a 5K client. You can record all of that. You could Twitch stream that whole thing, and that could be your marketing content to attract other people to do the same thing you're doing. And then you can grow your cleaning company and at the same time also grow the affiliate side.
Right. Right. Well, because I was thinking you're talking about starting a business, so then you learn,
Yes, in the step 1 training, it's one of my favorite ways. It's one of my favorite ways because you can, this is why it's my favorite ways. You can do both at the same time. You can grow the business and attract affiliates because all you're going to do is, as you're growing the business, record the whole thing like a documentary. That becomes all your marketing content. You pay a Fiverr dude to splice up the long form content into short form. And that becomes your short form marketing stuff. And then you run 2 profiles, a page profile for the business, a page profile for the affiliate.
like
So
what
it's a little bit more work, but the money is nasty.
right.
But it's if you do it the right way, what you're going to end up being a digital project manager. That's what I'm telling. That's the whole gist of this whole SASO University. Become a digital project manager, where you manage communication between the stakeholders, the client, the workers. You manage communications, you manage expectations. When the workers mess up, you take the blame and you address it to them. You do it in a way that makes you a nice person. Nice doesn't mean weak. It definitely doesn't mean be a dick. Definitely means don't be a dick. And then you handle the clients. Handling the clients is providing the quality, making amends when you mess up, and firing the nightmare clients. And again, don't be a dick. I fired a client a few weeks ago and I basically said this, hey, my process works. You are not following the process. It is a waste of my time to get on these calls. And because you're not following the process, it's a waste of your time to get on these calls. So I think you're going to be better off and you'll save more money if you go with someone else. But I want to give you a heads up. Within the next 30 days, I think we should part ways. I want to give you time to set up whatever you need to set up in order to make that happen for you smoothly. Oh, I can take the process seriously. No. Oh, I'll fix it. No. You're a piece of crap and you took my money. You didn't show up to the calls. You didn't do any of the advice seriously. Can you tell me the last piece of advice I gave you that you followed? Okay. That's why we're separating. I love firing clients. Imagine like, have you ever, and I'm not saying this in an insulting way, but have you ever had a job before? Because some people haven't.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You ever had a boss where you're like, I just want to like tell him to shove off, kind of?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So imagine you're just like, imagine he says the wrong thing and not in a reactive way, but imagine he says the wrong thing for the 10th time. And you're just like, you know what? With all due respect, Bob, I don't want to be here. You clearly don't want me here. If you do want me here, you got a really funny way of showing it. So you go your way. I'm going to go ahead and head out. Imagine doing that and your money doesn't change at all. It's the best feeling. Because you're like, cool, now I'm making 97 less dollars. Or I fired a 10K client, I'll find another one. I don't have to deal with that. The emotional pressure, see ya, I'm out. It's a really cool feeling.
Yeah.
Wait,
I imagine this.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I imagine that's like because I just stopped working a couple weeks. But every day I'll just be like, just what if I just walk out and just be like, fuck you guys, fuck this place, I'm over it, I'm out of here.
Right.
Imagine that's like a similar feeling.
Yeah, but the cool thing is like you can see the red flags and you can be like, you know what? This is not worth my time. And you can basically bow out before it gets to the point of you being like, screw this place, screw you guys. Like you can bow out before you get crazy.
Right.
And you can do it in such a cool way where it's like some people, it's called like FU money, where it's like you have enough, like you've probably heard that before, where it's like you have enough money where you can say F you to whoever you want because it doesn't impact your thing. Here's what I'll say. Here's why I dislike that term. I have met several business owners who make their own money. So they're essentially a dick 24/7 and they go unchecked. That's where I really dislike the FU money concept. They're like, nobody can tell me anything because I make my own money. So they just go around being a complete jerk to everybody. It's like, yeah, nobody can tell you anything, but like, I don't even want to have a conversation with you. Like, you're just
Right.
such a nightmare person. Like, I like hanging out with like cool people.
Yeah.
So you'll meet, especially you'll meet a lot of like people who think they have FU money. It's like, cool, you may have FU money, but there's like what, like a couple trillion people on this earth. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, see ya. Imagine you get a cool job and then you're like, oh, I got to work with this weirdo and I'm stuck with him or stuck with her, right? In your business, you're like, red flag, see ya. But when it comes to like landing clients, make the content. Well, first research. It goes research, make the conversion funnel, do your content, and then DM people or run ads and have them DM you. Push into a sales call. What's the current situation? What do you want it to be? Have you tried to solve this in the past? Why did you choose me? That will essentially close them. And then you go, cool, here's how we can, here's the exact process of how we fix your problem. And then you be quiet. They'll ask what the price is, and then you diminish the price. Most cleaners charge about $1.50 per square foot for this kind of job. I know that because I did my research. My team's going to come in. We're going to do it for $1.40. So we're going to save you 10 cents per square foot. And that's going to add up considering you have a 5,000 square foot house or you have a 15,000 square foot mansion because I'm only targeting wealthy people in Miami. Why is your rate so high? I pay my people good because when they go into your mansion, they're not going to steal a single thing. They're not going to pick up a penny off the ground. When they sweep a penny into the dustbin, they're going to take it and they're going to put it right on the counter. They're going to tell you, hey, Mr. Johnson, I found a penny right here. Hey, Mrs. Johnson, I saw half a scratch off. I didn't want to scratch off the rest of it. That's how good I pay my people. for that trust factor so they don't come in and steal that plasma TV. So that all comes in researching the industry, right? Knowing the pain points that the customer has, knowing their concerns, and speaking to those. Rich people want a good quality house clean, and they want to make sure their stuff isn't taken or stolen or abused. They don't want to go on Instagram and see, the cleaning team taking a bunch of pictures with their like Kobe jersey, right? That'd be awkward. Or they got in the Lambo and they took a bunch of like pictures, like, oh, take a picture of me in the Lambo and with my maid gloves, or you know what I mean? Like that'd be a tough thing to kind of reconcile. And again, well, you're expensive. That's the hurdle. Yes, and I'm expensive because we make sure we do a good job and we don't touch a single thing when we leave. So I'll see if you guys have any other questions, but that's basic. I know we always go way over because you guys have questions, and I love that because I'd rather talk than not talk. But any other questions before we wrap up? No. All right. Appreciate you guys coming. I'll go ahead and end the recording. Any questions you have, put them in SASO University, and then yeah, we'll chat in the group. Christian, I'll see you in the next couple of days, and then if you guys come to the next call, we'll have the next call next week, same time.